happening, everybody? Happy Thursday. I hope you guys are off to a great week. You've only got a couple days left. I hope you're not one of those just waiting for Fridays and hate Mondays, right? We need to make sure we're waking up and enjoying what we do, being a part of something bigger than ourselves, having a good, strong why. But anyways, I don't need to get all into that. My name is Colton. I'm the host here of the Grizzly Life podcast. What we talk about on here, anything kind of related to our businesses, related to fitness, anything that I'm personally learning. I've been doing a lot on AI lately and just kind of figuring out how to implement that within our businesses. But if this is your first time tuning in, just a quick background. We've got 6 gym locations. We've got some real estate. We've got a bar and restaurant. And then we've got a fitness equipment moving service company, right? So we've got our hands in a bunch of different areas, and we're learning and we're going through it. We're developing people. So we use this podcast as kind of a conversation piece as to maybe things that we're working on with our staff, maybe things that I'm reading or learning personally, books and ways to communicate and ways to be a better leader, self-reflection stuff, maybe my fitness journey or things that I've noticed from my fitness and things that I want to give back to you guys. So really the goal is to give you guys some, the goal is to give you guys some good, valuable, in quotations, I say, life advice, things that you can take away and hopefully implement right away into your life and be a little bit better. Our goal is to be that friend in your inner circle that helps you to the next level, that guy that's always pushing you, the one that's getting you to the gym, the one that's getting you to be a better person, whatever that may be, right? So our goal is 1% better each and every day, be a little bit better than you were yesterday, and yeah, that's what we work on here. So anyways, we're on the walk and talk, and I've got we're going to stick in the fitness area today. I haven't talked about fitness in a while. So for those of you who know me, I guess let me back up. If this is your first time joining, I appreciate you for checking us out. If you get any value from this, feel free to share it with other friends and family. That's how we grow the show. If you're a day one or somewhere in between, thank you for tuning in. We do these episodes for you. We want you to get some value from it, and the small group of people who enjoy it and say, hey, this is help me do this or do that, or help me realize this or that. That's what we do it for. So anyways, going back to fitness, I am big into sleep tracking. I believe sleep is one of the most important things. Probably the most important thing when it comes to your fitness journey. You need good sleep, you need good recovery. But then also, how active am I and all this stuff, right? And I remember when I was in high school, 12, 15 years ago, so freshman, sophomore, junior year. I'm not trying to date myself too far here, but the Fitbit was the thing. Fitbit was the thing. That's how you tracked your steps, your calories. I don't even really know what the Fitbit did. All I know is that was like the wearable back in the day. So anyways, long story short, I have been using the Oura Ring and the Whoop for like the last 2-3 years or so. I started with the Oura Ring, and then I got the Whoop, and I kept them both. And I was kind of using them side by side. But today, I kind of want to dive into why wearables, why it's important, and also my personal preference between the two and that kind of stuff. So again, I don't think you really know what you're missing until you start tracking the things and start understanding and learning from it. So one of the biggest things for me when I have these wearables is that I can monitor myself, I can coach myself, I can understand the thing I did right before I went to bed maybe affected my sleep, right? So, and it's hard when you first get them, you're like, oh, this must have done it, right? But after having them for some time, sometimes you just don't get as good a sleep. Sometimes you just, maybe you got a little bit more in your mind and you didn't realize it, and it affects your sleep, right? But these wearables will track your sleep, they'll track your steps, they'll track your workout, they'll track your resting heart rate, right? All of these valuable things and these metrics that if you want to improve your health, if you want to live longer, healthier, happier, stronger, all the things that we do talk about, I think a wearable is a must-have. It's a part of your health that you can just understand each and every day, and why not have that at your fingertips if you can? Now, dual-edged sword, you have to be careful. It does get, in my words, addicting. You want to make sure you get the best sleep, and you want to make sure you get the best recovery and, the most amount of steps or whatever. You want to one-up yourself. And so that day you wake up and your sleep is worse than it was yesterday, and you're like, what the hell did I do? And why is it so bad? And, you keep trying even harder and your sleep's getting worse. That happens. Use this as a tool, not as something you rely on, but something that you can, again, just kind of understand yourself more. So when you get these wearables, your goal is to just understand yourself and also improve your health long term. So if you get these, you don't want, you don't want to look at your data from day one and expect a big, increase, decrease by day 7, day 14, right? This is more of the long term, month over month, year over year. Have I improved? A lot of these wearables too now give you an age, a biological age, which is really cool. And what that, is stating is just from our metrics, from what it can read on us. It does have your age and your weight and stuff in there. What it can understand of us, it'll kind of interpret how healthy you are, and it'll give you kind of like its own algorithm for like what your age is in quotations, right? So like for me, I'm 28 point, I don't know, 2 years, 3 years or something. And my Whoop age is like 22 years, I don't know, like 22.5, 22 point or something, right? Like 5 years younger than I actually am or something. So what's cool for me, again, is long term, it's a game. How do I get younger? How do I stay in shape, right? And it's a motivating thing. It's one of those things where you wake up and you have something to look forward to. And again, what I start doing is I tell you guys all the time, self-reflect to understand what you're going through and what's happening. If you have a beer right before you go to bed, you're probably not going to get as good sleep. Some things that I've learned, right? Personally for me, when I do drink, I try to keep my drinking earlier in the day so that I can be done 3-4 hours before I go to bed. I can get plenty of water, and then I get to bed and feel good and wake up actually still partially recovered. Not as good as I normally would, but still a solid recovery comparative to me drinking right up to going to bed and then, passing out or whatever. So just an example. Same thing goes with food. Don't eat right before you go to bed. But again, everybody's different. It's wild. My brother and I could, him and I could have the same amount of beers. I could stop 4 hours before bed and he could have drank right up to bed, and I'll wake up still with a worse recovery than him. I don't know why. I don't know if it's like he's younger and he metabolizes it better, but whatever he's got going on with his system, his body, he gets much better recovery and sleep than I do, even when I'm doing everything right. So anyways, I want you guys to, if you can afford it, if it's something that makes sense, I think it's a great investment. You say, well, it costs money. I get it, but so does going to the doctor to get yourself looked at, right? So if you can keep an eye on this all the time, I do believe you can improve your health. I do believe you can become sick less, I just think long term, and you'll probably live longer, and you'll be happy for that, right? So obviously, how do you know? But you know what I mean? There are a lot of benefits from keeping an eye on this kind of stuff. So another cool thing is the steps portion. Your phone tracks steps, but that means you got to keep your phone in your pocket at all times and make sure you're walking around with it. That's fine. But this also links back to like all of your Apple Health and all that kind of stuff. So if you're an Apple person, I'm sure Samsung's got something. These all integrate with each other at this point. And so if Apple tracks or Samsung tracks something that, the watch doesn't or whatever, no big deal. So I want to go into, so obviously your steps are important, right? I always say you need at least 10,000 steps a day. My goal is always 12.5. So I want to get 12,500 steps a day. Now, depending on what wearable you have, some of them will track more steps than not. Some of them, I've driven a older truck that's got a more rough suspension, and I've gotten to, a job site for a priority fitness install. And when we get there, all of a sudden I've got, more steps from sitting around, right? So I have seen stuff like that before. But my Whoop doesn't really do that. The Oura Ring did it a little bit, but anyways, I just want you guys to be able to see these things if you can. The more you can track and understand, the better. You also wonder why is the scale moving? Or, I feel like I'm doing everything right. Trust me, some days, 10,000, 12,000 steps, whatever your goal is, it can be a lot. You don't realize it. You feel like you're active all day and you look down and you're at 8,000 steps or whatever. It takes consistency, right? So same thing with, being in a calorie deficit, we also got to be moving, right? Our heart's going to be healthier and happier. We're going to keep our body fat down a little bit if we can keep active like that. So again, my 2 cents, if you can afford it, if it makes sense for you, grab a wearable, pick one that suits you. Now, Whoop versus Oura. Oura is a ring. Whoop is more of a wristband watch looking thing. I was wearing both for a long time, and people always ask me, oh, which one do you like better? Personally, I lean towards the Whoop only from the standpoint, I actually liked the feeling of the ring. I like the look of the ring. I like the Whoop only from the battery life standpoint. If you get the new Oura Ring, and I'm sure they'll continue to improve, so eventually this video will be dated, but every time I bought the new Oura Ring, it was like a 5-day, 7-day battery life on it. And it just, after 3, 4, 5, 6 months, especially a year in, all of a sudden I'm charging it like twice a day to make sure it gets through the night and stuff like that. The Whoop, sorry, I'm walking through some construction here. The Whoop, personally, has a 14-day battery life, the newest one does, that I bought about a year ago, and it still easily pushes that. I haven't noticed any decline in battery. It's a very long time after I charge it. It's great. It's easy. That to me is probably the most important thing, is battery life. Nothing pisses you off more than when your phone's a couple years old and it dies quick, or it's just more of an inconvenience at that point. So that's what I do. That's what I care about, is the battery life aspect. The Oura Ring versus the Whoop. The Oura Ring tracks some things slightly different. I don't need to get too crazy into it. Your activity level is a little bit different. The Oura Ring was like, and for me, so my goal is like 12,500 steps every day. When I would do that consistently, after like 7 days in a row, the Oura Ring would eventually start like kind of nicking me for being too active. Like I'm not giving my body enough time to rest and recover, which, and maybe that's accurate, maybe it's not, but to me, I'm just getting steps in. It's not a big deal, but that was the marker I was looking at, and it would start hurting my activity score versus helping it. So anyways, the reason I did like having both is I never got too reliant on one or the other. If one showed me because again, they look at slightly different metrics to get their scores. So some nights I might have a 90 sleep on Oura and a 60 sleep on Whoop or something or whatever. And so I could kind of say, all right, well, maybe I don't feel as bad as I think I do, right? Because when my mind sees a bad score in the morning, my mind's already like, oh boy, it's going to be a rough day. I can tell. But I've gotten away from that. I don't rely on the scores as much now. I just take them in and I just kind of go with the flow, which again, I don't want to say competitive, but I just want to be the best. I want my scores to be the best. So that's just how I was when it was coming to that stuff. So now that I've had them for some time, I've relaxed a little bit on it, but I still obviously push to have good sleep, good recovery. You can definitely tell when you get in the 90s on a recovery on your Whoop versus like a 60s. You can just tell. You can just feel it in your face, your head, like just things don't feel as good. But anyways, some food for thought. If you care about your health and your fitness journey, even if you're not really involved in like the gym, I'm not much of a workout person, I still strongly recommend get something to just track your life, to understand you a little bit more. Long term, you'll have good insights. My mom and dad are both on one now at this point. I think it's great for them. When you start realizing how many steps you're not getting, for example, my dad, he's, sometimes he's at the desk for a while, or he'll have to drive 6 hours to get, here or there or whatever. You don't realize how many steps you're not at until at 6 p.m. and you're like, oh shit, I'm at 3,000 steps, right? So I've been in that position before too. When we first started our business, I can go back in my Apple Health and see my phone data. And this is actually when I gained the most weight. I was averaging like 4,500 steps a day or something like that, and that's at age, I don't know, 20 or 21 or 22 or something like that. I forget how far back my Apple Health data goes, but I've pushed that over the years. Now we're averaging like 9,500 steps a day on the Apple Health. But anyways, I'll stop blabbing at you. I just want you guys to consider, if you can, get some kind of wearable. Understand your life and your health and your fitness, whether you're in the gym or not in the gym. It really doesn't matter when it comes to this stuff. You still want to have great sleep and recovery. Still want to get your steps in. Still want to watch your resting heart rate. Still want to understand yourself. And again, watch year over year improvement. I do believe with modern technology, medicines, all that stuff, that life can be extended. If you look at years, look 100 years ago versus now, what the average life expectancy is, it's much different. So I only believe that trend will continue moving up, of course, longevity, living longer. So just consider that. Don't settle for, the average age of 72 or 75, whatever it is for men and women. Set that goal higher. And if you want to live that long, you want to be able to move that long too. So care about yourself, care about your flexibility and your strength and all that, because if you're going to live in your 80s, 90s, 100s, whatever it may be, you want to be able to move and function and take care of yourself and go shopping and all that stuff, right? So anyways, I appreciate you guys so much. Hopefully this gave you some insight on wearables. The main point here is they're important. You should definitely get one. Research, go all in on battery life. The Oura Ring, I did have a friend, Kyle G, our best, our PF guy, best friend of mine. We were moving some gym equipment in that ring. I mean, this could just be, men aren't used to wearing rings, or, he's not used to wearing rings or whatever, but his finger got caught on a machine same time and split his finger wide open. So maybe if you are going to be moving heavy equipment, be careful about wearing the ring. But if you're heavy with your hands all the time too, you know how it is. Wearing a ring at work isn't always convenient. So the Whoop works for me. And plus with the Whoop or any other like wrist wearable like that, they do make other bands. I know you can get like a bicep one, and I know you can get, I don't know if there's like ankle and underwear. I don't know. There's a bunch of different ones. Sports bra, maybe that, all that kind of stuff, right? So again, do what works for you. If you do get the Whoop, one thing I will say is the band it comes with. So everything's waterproof, but the band it comes with is like I don't know what kind of material, like a nylon-y, I don't know, a material that can still absorb water. So after a while, it starts kind of, I don't want to say smelling, but if you're working out hard, you're going for a run. For me, I was boxing. It just would capture that moisture, and it was hard to wash. And, you know, so over time, not after a month, but say, you know, I don't know, 6, 8, 10 months or something, right? It wasn't always the best smelling thing. So I actually went on Amazon. I just bought a rubber band. So now when I work out and run and all that kind of stuff, it's just like, you know, it's rubber. So it's not absorbing any of that stuff. But anyways, I appreciate you guys so much. Happy Thursday. Hope you guys are going out and winning the day. We'll talk to you soon. We'll talk to you Tuesday. Have a wonderful weekend.